Hello everybody, welcome back. And in this particular live I will mainly be, first of all I will be getting the deployment section done. Like I'm gonna be creating some files and we'll be deploying them on GitHub. If it succeeds, that's great. If it doesn't succeed, then I will be knowing more about it. Having said that, I myself did this kind of deployment a year ago or something. So let's see whether I'm gonna be actually able to do it again or not. Again, I will be turning the live chat off and let's continue from here on. So first of all, I will actually have to create a file, and so let's do that. And the file can be here, like deployment. Let's name it deployment itself. This is gonna be the one, and let's create a few things inside this. First of all, I'm gonna be opening it with the code for show, and once it is actually opened with the code, then let's simply zoom in a little bit. And that is it. Let's create a, and especially if you want to deploy something directly on GitHub, it should be just normal HTML, CSS and JS JavaScript file. That's it. So let's create a index.html. Apart from this particular thing, the name of the HTML file should be index.html. Then JavaScript can be anything, main.js. Let's name it like this, or index.js. It's completely up to you what you wanna name it, but let's name it index.js, or let's name it main.js. The most important thing is the index.html. If it is right, then that's it. It will be handling everything else. And similarly, I will have style.css if I'm not wrong. Again, I'm not sure whether I will get some kinds of error or not. So we will be figuring it out. Let's connect script script.src, and that's gonna be main.js, something like this. And just here, I will not be making it quite stylish, just the deployment part is gonna be done. So I'll be making it that's gonna be the least amount of code that just simply does the job. So deployment, I will be adding CSS over here. So link CSS. It's good to do all these things after a long time. Like it's actually been quite a lot of time since I've actually made something like this. So just a person, a subscriber asked me to just do this, so that is why I'm doing it right here. And now I'm gonna be having h1 over here. That's the how to deploy on GitHub, just like this. Apart from this particular thing, that's it, nothing else. I mean, this is the only thing. Let me give it a class name. So class is gonna be heading. That's it. So inside CSS, dot heading is gonna be font size. That's gonna be around 15 pixel or something. Not 15 pixel. Let's see how many options am I getting. Let's keep it medium for now. And font size, I'm getting these many options. That's crazy. Can I make it just directly 20 pixel or something? Okay. Apart from this particular thing, I'm not even sure about these properties. It's been really long time, so don't we will be just getting all these things checked. We will be checking whether we get the right response or not. Otherwise we'll be making changes here. So font size is gonna be here. Apart from this particular thing, text align, and that's gonna be center. And font weight is gonna be around 500 or something. And that is it. That's what I want. I'm gonna be giving it a padding top. That's gonna be let's give it 10 pixel so that it is just a little below. That is it. Let's simply check this thing out whether it actually works or not. So open with live server. This is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So how to deploy on GitHub? This is fine. It is even in the middle. So kind of it's working well the way we expected it to do. Expected it to work. What is the next thing? The next thing is pretty simple. Let's initialize Git here. Not only that, let me do one thing. Let me actually create a button here. Alert get an alert, get a message, or get an alert, just like this. If you click on it, you will be getting the alert. And class name, let's give it the ID. ID is gonna be alert button or btn, just like this. And I will be getting this ID over here inside main.js. So const alert btn is gonna be equal to document dot get element by id, and that's gonna be alert button, just like this. Once I have this, so alert button dot I can have it like this as well on click, or I can just do directly make it add an event listener, and just gonna be adding click event listener over here, and that's it, nothing else. At the end of the day I will be alerting. And what will be the alert message? This is the alert message, as simple as that, nothing else. So this is how I'm just simply going ahead with the things. And how will the button look like? Let's simply check this thing out as well. Just a minute. Status bar visibility, let's stop it right now. Let's start it again. And here, this is how I'm getting it. This is the alert button. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So when it comes to this, so over here, alert button, this is the alert button that I have. Let me add some properties here. Hashtag alert btn, and that's gonna be, bg is gonna be background, that's gonna be red, and padding is gonna be 5 pixel all around. That's really bad. Let's make it a 5 pixel and 3 pixel, just like this. Font size, that's gonna be 20 pixel around, and that's it. I don't really border radius, that's gonna be 20 pixel, 30 pixel. Let's see how it's gonna be. Not only that, margin x, margin, just margin is gonna be, top bottom is gonna be 0 pixel, left right is gonna be auto, just like this. And I think this should be enough. Let's see. I'm not really getting it in the middle. Let me do one more thing. Body will have width 100% if I'm not wrong. And will it make any difference? This is insane. I mean, it is not at all working as expected. Let's see what exactly causing the issue. So far, mostly I'm in the habit of using Tailwind CSS. So if I get stuck with this, that's quite obvious. But before even that, why am I even getting stuck? If I've actually said this, like body will have 100% width. Sorry, not 100 pixel. It should have 100% width, just like this. Let's check this thing out. It is in the middle, but I'm not getting this one in the middle. Why is that so? So when it comes to alert button, so margin is auto. Let's give it the width as well. So width is gonna be 100%. Will it be like now alright or not? Yeah, now I'm getting it. I will have to give it some fixed width as well. So width 100%, alert button. What is above alert button? Above alert button there is body. So I can say body has the 100% width. This is bad. Alert button cannot be given 100% width, and this margin auto is not working. So if it has 100%, then 100 VW. Why is that so? Let's check this thing out. Let's click on this and add some things. So margin is gonna be 0 and auto, and this definitely does not work, right? So if this does not work, in that case what else can I have? The next property that I can actually have is to margin auto should be working here. And why is this margin auto does not work? Auto means it should be just I think left, right, top, bottom. So let's make it auto. Let's make it 0. So just a sec. Hang on. Top auto. So I don't want top auto. Just equal 0, and let's make it like this, and let's check this thing out. So margin top is 0 pixel, right is auto, left is auto, but I'm not able to get it in the middle. God knows what's the reason behind it. I usually should be working fine. Let's give it some color as well. The color has already been given. The body will have BG blue or something, so that I'm actually able to see the stuff clearly. Okay, this is how it goes. It is still, I can use flex. I mean, I have many ways to get it done, but it's like I just wanted to use this particular property, and it doesn't seem to be working as expected. So alert button does not have any width. That could be the reason. Width is gonna be around, let's make it 100 pixel around. Let's see how it's gonna be going on. 100 pixel does not make much difference. Let's make it 200. Okay, 200 is okay, but still it is not in the middle. Auto, margin auto. When does margin auto work? When does margin auto works? Margin auto works in specific scenarios. It automatically calculates the distributed available space, primarily horizontal, centering a block of. That's what I wanted it to do, but it is not doing that. Okay, does it work when margin auto will not work as expected in the following situation? Vertical normal flow, margin for elements in normal vertical flow, margin top auto, margin bottom always exceed 0 pixel. Okay, in line elements it has no effect on them. Float elements it does not float. Okay, elements without a specific width, elements without a specified width. If a block element's width is set to its auto, meaning takes 100% of the parents, there is no remaining space. So yeah. Okay, what exactly is needed for margin student auto to work? That's what I want to check out. And here off the top of my head, the element must be block level, display block, display table. The element must not float. The element must not have fixed or absolute position of the element must have width that is not auto. I am following everything. Display block, width not auto, display table or table. Okay, so let's make a display block as well. I mean, by default it is display block, but display block. Oh, insane. The button is not display block by default. Is that so? What is the display property of button in CSS? The default display property of HTML button element is inline block. That's crazy. Well, it was inline block, and that is why it hasn't been behaving the way I expected it to behave. So that was actually the reason behind it. But never mind. The main focus is gonna be on again deployment. So let's take care of that. So far, it's been working well. The thing is that by default it is inline block, and that is why it never worked the way I expected it to work. Right now it is working the way I want it to work. Having said that, if I just simply click on this button right now, I'm simply getting an alert. That simply means everything's working. What is the next thing that I can actually do? The next thing, one more thing, let's get the designing a little bit better. So by default it's gonna have some gray color, so hashtag 00000, one more 0, and let's give it some grayish color. Apart from this particular thing, body minimum height, that's gonna be 100 VH, and apart from this particular thing, padding is gonna not here, rather just at the top. These are some extra things, I'm just remembering them. So padding should be 0 pixel, and margin should be 0, just like this. Remove the pixel, again it's completely optional, but this is how I'm simply gonna be going ahead. And let's see, this is how things are gonna be looking like. And as for the top head margin that actually I'm giving here, I will be removing that. So this is how things are actually gonna be looking at the end of the day. One more thing, it has width, 100% width, minimum height it has, and when it has the minimum height, let's do one thing. It's mainly gonna be display flex and justify content is already at the center. Let's make it items, not items, align items, they are gonna be at the center. How about this right now? And they are in the middle. That's great. Not only that, direction, flex direction, right? Yeah, flex direction, that's gonna be column, and gap, that's gonna be 20 pixel or something. And let's see what's the result look. This is how the result looks like. The only thing is that flex direction is column. Let's get rid of this, then it actually looks like this in that case. But if I make the flex direction column, then there is a problem. Then instead of using align items, I am supposed to be using justify content. So justify justify content center, and now it should be looking okay. It is in the middle, and that's what I wanted. If I click on this, it is showing me the alert. Okay, so kind of the work that we had to do from our own side, we've already done that. And after that, let's stop everything. What the hell? ls literally exit it. Why is there no design? Okay, right now it's fine. So what am I supposed to do right now? Let's initialize git here. So git status, there's no git initialized. Git init, git branch m, and that's gonna be main branch. I wanna make it. Once it is main branch, then git add everything, git commit, add everything. That's simply easy peasy stuff. Git log, there's a log that we have, and let's end it from here. What is the next thing? Let's create a repository, and let's go to GitHub. Over here I'm just simply gonna be creating a repository deployment testing. It is just simply gonna be that. So deployment testing, just like this. Create it. It's just gonna be like that. I will be just simply getting everything from here, just simply pasting it here, run it, and all the code is going to be pushed. Once all the code has been pushed, after that let's simply start thinking what we can do next, especially if we want to deploy it over here like this file. So I have better go to settings, if I'm not wrong, and then the next thing is that go to pages, and over here what you can actually do, select the main branch from here. Once the main branch is actually selected, just save it, deploy from a branch, that's fine. And once it is actually saved, that is page source saved. And what is the next thing? Custom domain. You can have your custom domain. Let's simply reload the page. I'm missing something, that is for sure. Deploy from a branch, GitHub actions. I'm not worried about GitHub actions, rather deploy from a branch. And it is mainly asking for what? GitHub pages are served. What else do I need to do next? Deploy from a branch. Custom domains allow you to serve your sites for domain. Okay, this is gonna be the custom domain. I've already saved it. Should it be working with this, just with this much? Don't blame me. I done it. I did it, but long time ago when I was learning about normal HTML. Okay, it got published. The thing is that I wasn't getting this particular site, so I was a bit confused whether it is actually working in the background or not. But let's simply click on visit website and click on alert. It is working. I don't know, somebody actually asked me to just do it, and here we go. I've done it from my own side, so I hope it does help you. By the way, is there anybody watching the video right now? There was a actually subscriber who actually asked for this particular thing with just show me deployment process. Copy the link, and by the way, I will be just sending him this link at the end of the day. The duration is what? It's been, not even sure about the duration. How long have I been live for? Don't know, but let's end this thing right here. It is almost done. I've deployed it, and the deployment is still working. So let's close this particular thing from here. And if you just go to deployment section, this is the URL, unstoppable coder GitHub deployment listing. And if you just go to this particular link, you can just simply get it, and it turns out to be working. Let's open another browser, maybe Firefox, and check this thing out here too. Let's simply enter it, and I'm here on a website. And let's simply click on get an alert, and we are getting the alert over here, and that's it. Nothing we can ask for. Everything's working. JavaScript is working. Ultimately main.js is working. Index.html, of course, that is why we are getting over here. And CSS is just simply designing this stuff and all. So we are done with this. Amazing job. Let's continue from here on. So let's remove this particular part from here. Unpublish. Never mind. Let it be published like this right now. And that is it. Nothing else. Alrighty. Great job. Let's simply delete it as well. I'm not really gonna be talking much about that. Front end, back end. Let's not talk about this front end code right now. Front end, back end. This is the code related to WhatsApp clone. I will be working more on it tomorrow. And we were talking about this particular thing. So the last time when I actually stopped my live, at that time we were supposed to be talking about join handler and exit room handler. What actually happens that when there is a WebSocket server and there is a client's WebSocket client, both of them are connected. At that time there can be two types of processes that can actually be the process or the data can be related to WebRTC process, or that can be related to normal server process. On the basis of those things, we have normal server processing, we have WebRTC server processing, simple, easy peasy. Once we got the data, it has the label, it has the data. So normal server processing will process the data related to the normal server process. WebRTC server processing will handle the data related to the WebRTC. So once we add the data, once we add the label, that label will be identifying the kind of data it is, as simple as that. Okay, so this particular thing is done. So handle message is done, and right now we are handling the messages in these two things. Normal server processing will be handled here, and WebRTC server processing will be handled here. So normal server process related code we have here, and WebRTC related code we are here. Let's talk about the normal server processing. So in normal server processing, let's talk about the type as well. So when it comes to data that I'm actually sending from the client side, so that data is gonna be having these things. So when it comes to the data, suppose whatever message const message I'm sending from the client side, so first of all that message will have a label. That label can be anything. That label can be constants dot labels dot normal server process, or it can be WebRTC server process. So the label can be any one of these. Suppose I have WebRTC, or maybe I have normal server process over here. Apart from this particular thing, it will have data. Data again will have two things. Data will have the type. Type is gonna be again constants dot type dot any type. It can be whether what you are trying to do. I'm joining the room, so room join. When I'm joining the room, at that time it can be request, whether requesting to join the room. It can be notifying the other user and all. So suppose I'm requesting to join the room, something like this, and at the end of the day I will have the message here too. So this is gonna be the structure of the message that I'm getting on the message. On the basis of the label, I'm actually converting dividing the message or process into two separate processes. One of them is gonna be normal server process, another one is gonna be WebRTC related, and then now I'm gonna be dividing it further on the basis of the type that I'm getting. Okay, so right now if the data type is gonna be join room, so I will be joining the room. If the data type is exit the room, again that's gonna be request, so I will be exiting the room, otherwise nothing. So two things are gonna be handled here. If I'm joining the room, I will just simply pass the data over here. If I'm exiting the room, the same thing still I'm gonna be doing. So let's talk about the join room handler and exit room handler. What will happen over here? Simple. You are joining the room, right? So first of all, I'm gonna be getting room name and user ID. Where are these coming from? These are coming from the data side. So in the data you have a room name and you have the user ID. What data am I talking about? Let me even do that. Let me even clear it exactly where it is coming from. So whenever you are joining the room, you are sending some kind of message from the client side. So let's go to the client side in the sense main.js. Okay, over here I'm trying to join create the room is already done, so we don't need to worry about it. Destroy room we have already gone through it, so we don't need to worry about it. Right now we are trying to join the room, right? So let's check out exactly how many things we are sending from here. So first of all, we are getting the name of the room. Again, we are getting the name from the input box. If the room does not exist, just simply alerting it. If the room does exist, after that we are just sending a join room request from the client side. So this is the request, and over here what I'm doing, I'm getting the room name, I've got the user ID, I have both of them. Then I'm creating a message. That's what I mentioned earlier. So inside the message I have label. Label is the normal server process, that's fine. When it comes to the data is the type, is gonna be, again I'm trying to join the room, and this is gonna be a request type, right? The kind of request that I'm sending over here, I'm trying to request to join the room, right? That is why the type is the request over here. And apart from that, I'm just simply sending the room name and user ID. Again, you could have sent more things. You could have sent the message as well, but there's no need for the message, so that is why I'm not gonna be sending that. These two things, username, room name and user ID, should be enough to just simply join a room. And after that, state.getState, I'm simply getting the user WebSocket connection. From where? If you are a user, you are on the web page, then this state is being maintained, and inside this particular state you already have your user WebSocket connection, and using this state you can get your WebSocket connection. Already you are just simply returning this everything from here. This is the get state function that you have created, and you are returning the state from here. And once you are returning the state from here, that means you can easily access this particular WebSocket connection, and that's what we are actually doing over here. So inside this, what I'm saying, state.getState, simply I got my state. After that, user WebSocket connection, I got my connection. I have to send, what do I have to send? I have to send the message, but before that I will have to stringify the message. This is how we send the messages using WebSocket and all. So ultimately I send the message. Now the message will go to the WebSocket server, and that is what we are handling here. So inside app.js, the message actually comes here, and in the message I'm already getting room name and user ID inside the data. Let's check that thing out. Inside WebSocket, here when I'm trying to join the room, inside data, am I sending the room name and user ID? Yes, I'm sending. So can I get them here? Of course I can get them here. Okay, once I got them here, then what will I be doing? I'm trying to join the room. So first of all, I will have to check whether the room exists or not. If the room does not exist, how can I join that? Once the room is actually checked, then after that I will have to check whether the room is actually empty or not. If suppose the two people are already in the room, then what can you do? You cannot join, right? So you will have to check whether the room is full or not, and lastly you can just simply join the room, as simple as that. So how will you check whether the room exists or not? You already have the room name. With the help of the room name, you can find the room, whether there is such kind of room exist or not. So existing room is gonna be rooms.find. Again, you have the room array. With the help of the room name, you can just simply find that particular room, and let the other user ID is gonna be null. Question: how will you be finding the other user ID? What you are doing, you are trying to join a room. Okay, if when will you join the room? When the room is already created. If the room is already created, what all the does the room array contain? Room array contains three things: room name, peer 1, peer 2. If you don't believe me, here we go. So when it comes to the room, so it contains room name. Okay, I will have to comment this as well. So it contains room name, it contains peer 1, it contains peer 2. This is just an example, so don't worry about it. So it contains three things, right? So if the room already exists and you are the peer 2, that means peer 1 is already there. That simply means you can even find the ID of the peer 1, and that's what we are doing over here. So what we are actually doing here, let collapse this. And in this particular section over here, with the help of the room name, I'm gonna be finding the room. Once I have found the room, I can just simply know the user ID of the other user who is already in the room, right? It's easy peasy to find that. But if the room does not exist, in that case I'm just simply returning that a user tried to join the room but does not exist, and I'm gonna be sending the failure message over here. Again, even if you are sending the failure message, the label is still gonna be normal server process. WebRTC has no way to be a normal server process. Everything related to WebRTC gonna be under WebRTC process, WebRTC server process. Having said that, we are not tackling with WebRTC yet. We are just doing the job with a HTTP server and WebSocket server. That's it. Not WebRTC. WebRTC is nowhere close right now. So let's not talk about that. It's just simply gonna be normal server process. When it comes to data, so there's gonna be type. What is the type? The type is the failure. I was trying to join the room, but the response is failure, because of course I couldn't join the room because the room does not exist, and I'm simply sending the message from here. This message will be received on the client side. So as soon as I send this particular message, I will be receiving it on the client side. I will be even showing you this, like how am I receiving it and then what exactly am I doing and all on the client side. But it is pretty much easy peasy. You will be listening for the messages on the client side, and then at the end of the day, if the room does exist, after that what I'm doing, if the room does exist, I will be joining the room. And when I'm actually joining the room, to send WebSocket message, user ID and fail. Okay, this is the failure message related stuff. Sorry, I just didn't collapse this. So everything related to existing room. If a room does not exist, I will be just simply sending this particular message. You cannot join the room, and using the user ID, I'm just simply sending the message back to you. Okay, this particular thing is done. So I checked whether the room does not exist or it does exist. If it does not exist, I'm sending a failure message. If it does exist, what will happen? Then I will check whether is it actually full or not. And if I'm getting both existing room.peer1, existing room.peer2, if both the users are already there in the room, that means the room is not empty. There are two people or two peers are already in the room. That simply means you will be sending the failure message again. So normal server process, data type is gonna be a response. This is again gonna be failure, and I can say message is gonna be two people are already there, two participants already there, and I will be sending this WebSocket. Again, what does this function do? Send a WebSocket message to the user. This function takes the user ID. This function takes any message. That can be failure message, that can be success message, that can be notification message. Doesn't matter what you want to send, you can just give it over here. And using this user ID, this particular function will actually find the WebSocket connection, WebSocket of that particular user, and it will send it to the particular user. So if I show you that, so over here you get the send user ID and you get the message on the basis of this user ID. You just simply find that particular connection, and again, if the user exists, that means connection exists. If the connection exists, user ID exists, and with the help of the user ID, you can just simply find the connection. Once you got the connection, and if the connection has the WebSocket connection, then you can just simply send it from here. So user connection that you found dot WebSocket connection dot send, and you are just simply sending everything, and that's it, nothing else. So this is what it does. No need to worry about anything. Let's continue from here on. And once it is actually, oh, where was I? So I checked whether the room is full or not. If the room is not full, then I can join the room. So at this particular time, first of all, I checked whether the room exists or not. After that, the room is empty or not. If both the conditions are true, I mean eligible for me to join the room, after that I can just simply join the room from here on. So at this time I can just simply join the room because it is both available as well as exists. In that case, I'm trying to join the room right now. Okay, how will I join the room? Joining the room simply means adding you as a peer over there. That's it. Because the room already exists, there is already a user inside the room. That simply means peer 1 is supposed there. That means you should be peer 2, and if peer 2 is there, you should be peer 1. As simple as that. And that's what I'm simply checking. If not existing existing room dot peer 1, if peer 1 does not exist, that means you should be peer 1, and if peer 1 does exist, that means you should be peer 2. As simple as that. Just think it like this: one user is already in the room, you are gonna be the second user. So if peer 1 is there, then you should be peer 2. If peer 2 is there, you should be peer 1. And that's what you are doing over here. Existing room, if peer 1 does not exist, then you are gonna be the peer 1, and other user ID is gonna be peer 2. As simple as that. And if peer 1 does not existing room peer 1, if it does exist, if peer 1 exists, in that case you are gonna be peer 2 and other user is gonna be peer 1, and that's it, nothing else. It's quite understandable, right? And once you have joined the room, now nothing else, you will be sending a success message, and that's what you are doing over here. Label is still gonna be normal server process. Type is gonna be success type. This time you were trying to join the room and the response is gonna be success, and then message you have successfully joined the room. Creator ID room name. Why are you sending this? Look, creator ID in the sense other user ID. So once you have joined the room, you are sending the creator ID and you are sending the room name to the other user. Why? When you have created a WebSocket connection, you have joined a room. So inside the state, what all you will have. So if I talk about the state, this is the state. So over here I have user ID. I'm taking care of the WebSocket connection, room name and other user ID. When I as a user get a connection ready, at that time I will get my WebSocket connection, I will get my user ID. When I join the room, at that time I will get the room name. How will I get the user? And again, I can only set the room name once I have joined the room. Before joining the room, I cannot set the room name. So that is why I'm sending these two things from the after joining the room. Ki room name I'm sending, other user ID I'm sending, so that I can actually keep both of them, or I can just set them here. And that's the main reason behind sending it from here. So I'm sending the creator ID. Creator ID means other user ID, and that's what I'm gonna be saving here, other user ID, and I'm sending the room name from here, so that I can, once I get the response on the client side, I can actually set the state from there. So I think this should make sense right now. And then send WebSocket. Again, this is used, how it is used you already know, using a user ID and success message. This success message will be sent to this particular user ID. This user ID will figure out the WebSocket connection using the connections and all. That's it. And once you have actually joined the room, you will be notifying the other user. Okay bro, now I have joined the room. You should be knowing that I have joined the room. Now there are two people already. So you are gonna be notifying the other user. How will you be notifying the other user? Again, that's gonna be label, that's gonna be data, type is gonna be notified this time. You were trying to join the room, you have joined the room. Now you have to notify the other user that okay bro, you are already in the room, that's great. Now I have joined your room right now, so you should be notified as well, right? And whom will you be notifying? You will be notifying the other user. And message is gonna be this person joined the room. Join user ID is gonna be user ID. You are sending this join user ID. This particular message will be sent to other user. That other user should know that this particular person should be has joined the room, and the other user is gonna be you. For you are peer 1, and the other, for you are the current user, okay, and the other user is the other person. For the other person, that person is the current user and you are the other user. It just gets opposite, right? It just simple. So that is why you are just simply sending the join user ID. Why are you sending it? Again, the same thing. For the other user, user ID exists for him, WebSocket connection exists for him. That person created the room, so room name he has that. What about the other ID, other user ID? He does not know your user ID, and that other user ID is you. Your user ID, and that is why you are sending your own user ID from here, so that it can actually be saved over here. So it's all about managing the state. Both the users should have the IDs of peer 1 and peer 2, that means user ID and other user ID, and they should have the room name, so that they can actually find mention the IDs or names of each other. As simple as that. And if needed, they can find the WebSocket connections and all, and that's it. Get the job done. So this is how we are gonna be going ahead, and I'm just simply sending the message from here, and that's it. Everything is done right now. So ultimately these are the steps that you have followed. First of all, when joining the room, you are checking whether the room does exist or not. Okay, room exists. Is it empty? If the room is empty, that's okay. Now I'm gonna join the room. When you are actually joining the room, at that time you are checking ki I am peer 1 or peer 2, because if peer 1 exists, that means you are peer 2. If peer 2 exists, that means you are peer 1. And if you are peer 1, that means other user is peer 2. If you are peer 2, other user is peer 1. It should be just as simple as that. Once you got the other user as well, you are sending response back to you like, okay, I have joined the room. You are notifying the other user as well that you have joined the room, and that's as simple as that, nothing else. So joining room is done right now. Let's simply collapse this one, and there is something called exiting room. Once you have joined the room, you can exit the room as well. But just think it, कि two people are in the room. Okay, now one person wants to exit the room. What should happen? When that person exits the room, that simply means in the room the peer 2 or peer 1 ID should be null. We have to make the ID null because that person has exited the room. Apart from this, what else can you do? That person exited the room. Do you really need to do anything else, or you have to just simply send again? You have to notify the other user, right? So if there are two people in the room, so first of all, if you click on the exit button, you have to notify the other user that okay, this person has exited the room. This is the first thing. Second thing is that you have to make some changes in the UI, and more than that you don't really need to do anything. Okay, next time if you are actually using WebRTC, then you actually get a lot to do, because once you exit the room, you have to close your peer connection. You have to stop that. You have to close the data channel. Again, if you close the peer connection, data channel automatically gets stopped. This is the first thing, and I think this is it. Closing the peer connection does the job. Let's see exactly what all we have done over here. So first of all, whenever we exit the room, we want to have the room name. Again, let's go to the client side here. Okay. So when you are actually going to here inside main.js, this is where we joined the room. This is where we are exiting the room. So when we click on the exit button, at that time what we are doing, I am getting the room name. Okay, I already have my user ID because of course I am the user, so I will have my user ID. Once I have them, again changing something, UI utils.exit room. This UI utils.exit room will just simply change some things on the UI. So UI should change as soon as you exit the room. So interface should change. So everything related to the interface will be handled by it. Don't worry about it. It's pretty much easy peasy. The important thing is this, that WebSocket.exit room, you will be sending the room and user ID. What will this do? It will actually remove you in the server. Okay. And this is the UI. This is the WebRTC close peer connection. Again, as I was saying that first of all, you will be removing yourself from the server side and you will be closing the connection as well, and then peer connection is going to be closed. We will be talking about both these, and let's first of all check out the exit room. What you do when it comes to, again this is inside the WebSocket file, that's okay, but when you are exiting the room, so you get your room, you get your user ID, you create a message, you send a message to the server. What is the message? Process is gonna be normal process, because of course we are not working with WebRTC yet. Okay, then when it comes to the data, so again what is the, we are trying to exit the room, and this is a request to exit the room, as simple as that. Room name and ID I'm sending from here, and I must have my own WebSocket connection, and using that particular WebSocket connection I'm sending it. That's fine, this is just sent. Now I will be getting it on the backend side, so let's come here, and over here exit room handler, I'm gonna be getting it here. Okay, how am I getting this particular function is triggered? Pretty simple. If you actually come here, handle connection, okay, you are getting your data over here. So when it comes to handle connection, so not this one here, okay, so when it comes to handle connection, so you get your WebSocket, and whenever a message arrives, this particular function runs, handle message runs, and inside this handle message, in the data section you will be getting the message, and that message will contain the label, as you have seen that, and on the basis of the label there are going to be two types of processes, normal server process or WebRTC process. This is going to be normal server process. Then it has the data has the type. On the basis of the type you will be deciding whether I'm trying to join the room or I'm trying to exit the room. Here I'm trying to exit the room, so this particular function is gonna run, and over here I will be exiting the room. The difference between HTTP and WebSocket is that when it comes to HTTP, so you can define proper routes, you can define proper methods, like okay, this is a post method, this is this particular route, it should hit only that particular method route in the backend, so this particular URL should be hitting that particular route. But when it comes to WebRTC, there's only one connection, right? one connection is ready, that's it. And now you will be sending some data back to the server, and on the basis of that data you will be deciding what you have to do. There should be some type. This is the join request type, this is a delete type, this is a exit type. On the basis of that type you will be just handling this stuff. So over here it's not like every time you are just making different requests using different URLs. Rather there is only one connection between the server as well as client, and that's it. You can just simply send the data from this side to that side, or that side to this side. Then how will you be deciding what to do with that data? And that is why you need to send the type. The type will tell this data is of this type for exiting the room, for joining the room, for deleting the room, for etc. And on the basis of that type you will be performing the different kinds of things, and that's how we are doing it over here. Having said that, once this exit room handler gets clicked, so of course I will have the data. Inside data I will get my room name and user ID. How do I know it? I'm sending it from here, right? Didn't you say that? Over here WebSocket, whenever I'm exiting the room, not joining the room actually, whenever I'm actually exiting the room over here, so what I'm sending the room name, I'm sending the user ID, and that's what I'm getting here. Once I got that, suppose I want to exit the room, what will I do? First of all, I will remove it from, I will remove the user. But even before that, I'm checking the existing room. If I got the existing room, and then as I got the existing room, so if I am peer 1, then other user is gonna be peer 2. If I am peer 2, other user is gonna be peer 1. This is how I'm simply getting the other user ID. So I have my ID, I have room name, I have other user ID. Why do I need to have the other user ID? I am leaving the room. I need to notify the other user that I have left the room, and for that thing I need to have the WebSocket connection of the other user to notify that particular user, and to get the WebSocket connection I need to have the user ID. So once I have the user ID, other user ID, using this I can find the WebSocket connection, and then I can send a message. Existing room, if the room does not exist, you will be just simply logging the value over here, and the most important thing starts from here. Remove the user from the room. Simple, easy peasy. Existing room dot peer 1 is that's triple equals to user ID. If you are the peer 1 should be null because you are leaving the room, right? Or if you are peer 2, peer should be null because you are leaving the room. As simple as that. Okay, then clean up and remove the empty room. So once you have left the room, suppose you were the only one in the room. Suppose there was no user, there should be two peers, right? Peer 1 already left the room. Now you are the only one remaining in the room. So the value of another peer is already null. Now as you are leaving the room, your value is also going to be null because of course you are specifying it over here. Though peer 1 is gonna be null, peer 2 is gonna be null. That means there is no one in the room. That simply means you should delete that particular room, and that's what we are doing over here. So clean up and remove the empty room. So you are just simply checking whether the existing peer 1 is null and peer 2 is null. If both of them are null, simply delete it, and that's it, nothing else. If even a single user exists, then you have to notify that particular user that okay bro, someone left the room, now you have to take care of the remaining things. So for notifying that, you are just simply creating a message. Again you will have a label, again you will have the data, again you will have the type that okay, room exit and notify. The type was room exit, someone exited the room, and here we are actually notifying that okay, someone exited the room. That's simple. Sending the web message, like message to the other user in the sense not you, the other one who is already in the room, and that's it, nothing else. So this particular thing is actually done. Kind of things do make sense. It's like once you start getting the stuff exactly how the things are actually connected to each other, their mind starts working like okay, this is how now it should be done. So it's all about key, even if you are making a project, remake that. It's just as simple as, for me it works, and if it works for me, it will definitely work for the other people. I built this project, this is already a build project. I'm explaining it, and after explaining it I will be working on it again. So by explaining, I'm getting each and everything crystal clear in my mind, and after that I will be rebuilding it, and then I can add extra things from my own side. As simple as that. So this is how the learning goes. At least for me it works amazingly fine, and if you actually try it, it will definitely work for you too. By the way, let's continue from here on. So we have done everything related to WebRTC, and not only that, as soon as a user leaves the room, let's close this handle, collapse this. As soon as the user left the room, I removed the user from the server side. Not only that, I have to close the WebRTC connection. How do you close the WebRTC connection? You have the peer connection PC, just call close button over there, a close method over there. So what am I doing inside this for closing that? First of all, I will be checking whether I have the peer connection. If I have the peer connection, I will be just simply closing it. This is just simple. I will be making the peer connection null. I will be making the data channel is gonna be null, and that's it. Again, what are these? This is the peer connection, WebRTC. If you know it, that's great. If you don't know it, don't worry. We will be going through it. but it's like this was the connection that was ready. I've closed this. Data channel simply used for sending the data here and there. Using data channel only, you can just simply send text using WebRTC, and using data channel there are SMCP. Forgot the full form. Never mind. There is some kind of protocol. Using that, you can even make video calls. You can send messages. You can send files, and all. Everything is possible. Even if a WebSocket connection is not there. Once two users are connected using WebRTC, then they are just simply connected. They don't need anything else. Actually, you can just stop your WebSocket connection. They will still be connected, and that's it. You are literally doing nothing else. So nothing could be actually better than this. Let's continue from here on. Whew. Wow. This has been amazing. Lastly, we have send a message button. Again, we will be talking about it later, but ultimately we have exited the room, we have joined the room, we have destroyed the room, we have created the room. And not only that, on the server side, we have covered everything related to normal server process, join room, and etc. Now few things are there related to WebRTC server. We will be going through it, and this one we have already talked about. Send WebSocket server message to the user. It simply gets the user and sends the message, and here we are just simply listening. Pretty much easy peasy. So what is remaining? One thing, that is WebRTC. That is it. It does take a lot of energy, but at the end it's worth it. Explaining, especially when you are able to explain the things really well. If you are able to explain, that simply means you know it, and that simply means you can build it, and that's why I like it the most. By the way, let's continue from here on. Now we are gonna be talking about WebRTC stuff. How now you must have seen that both the users are connected. Let me even show you the demo. Let me check if there's somebody or not. Okay, there is nobody in the room. Okay, that's crazy. I understand. It could be hard to understand though. So if you're not here, that's quite understandable. But two people are there. That's not bad too. Thank you very much for being here. But let's continue. So what I have done, let me just simply run it. Whatever I have explained so far, I have joined the room, I have deleted the room, I have even exited the room and all. Let's simply run it and see it in action. So npm start should be starting it. Okay, it has started, and right now if I go here, localhost 8080, and here we are. Simple. What have we been discussing so far? There are two users. This is the user, and there's gonna be another user. Let's not even talk about this right now. Okay, I just opened this particular page. The user ID automatically got created. How is the user ID getting created? Over here, whenever this main.js runs, this particular file runs, first of all, you actually create the user ID. That's it. As soon as you go to the index.html page, the first thing you do, you create the user ID. That means you create a new user, and then you initialize the UI, and after that you create the WebSocket client connection, and then you register events. That's okay. Then you create the room, you destroy the room, you join the room, you exit the room, or you just send the message. I mean, many things happen, but ultimately whenever you just reload it, a user gets created. So right now this is the user that actually got created. You have connected to our WebSocket server. Why are you connected? Because the WebSocket server is already running, and now the client got created. That simply means WebSocket connection got established, and this is the user ID that you have got. Once you got the user ID, if you actually go here, what you are getting, server is listening on port 8080. This particular user connected to the WebSocket server, that is fine, and total connected user is 1. That's great. What we can do, we can create one more user. If I reload the page, when I reload the page, the previous user will be deleted and new user will be created. So this is gonna be the new user. How is the previous user being created? We handled it, right? So if you actually have a look over here, so inside app.js, whenever the connection, the current connection closes, at that time I'm handle this connection, and inside this handle this connection, I'm getting everything done. I have already gone through it, so I will not be going through it again. The code is quite a lot, so I'm gonna be done. I mean, I'm gonna be tired explaining the thing. So I have explained it once. That's fine. I'm just simply telling it that this handle disconnection handles it. Handles in the sense removes the previous user. Okay, let's create the room. This is the first user, by the way. The user ID is this, and let's create one more user. And creating one more user in the sense opening one more page, and that's it. So this is the another user. The ID is this. This is the first user. The ID was this. This is the second user. The ID was this. If you actually have a look over here inside the log, so what you are doing over here, that first of all user was removed, and then user is not part of any room. That's okay. This particular user got connected initially, user is 1. Then you opened another, then this particular user got connected. So this is how you have two users right now. That's fine. What is the next thing? The next thing is that two users are connected. That's fine. Two users are connected to the WebSocket server. Now I can create a room. So let's simply create a room. The room name is gonna be secret. As soon as I click on create, then what will happen? When I click on create, then inside my main.js, this particular, as soon as I click on the button, so create a room button, the event listener is added to that. So this particular thing runs. That simply means HTTP request is sent to the server, and the room is gonna be actually created. As simple as that. So it's just like that. Whenever you click on this create button, you will send a request to the server and you will create the room. Let's click on this and you have created the room. Again, this UI changes. You send the request to create the room, then you get the response back. On the basis of that particular response, you just simply make the changes in the UI. But the good thing is that, let's make it here. Right now you are only one in the room. So if even you are getting some messages over here, these are the normal UI related stuff. You can just change the things and all. So you have joined the room, you are waiting for the other peer, that's fine. And let me even what should I do? Should I explain the things? It's quite understandable, right? What is actually happening? Once you created the room, you send a request to the backend created the room, and then the server actually sent you the response back. You got the response. If the response is success, you are changing the UI. Simple, easy peasy stuff, and you are just simply adding some things over here. I mean, it should definitely make sense if you know it even a little bit. Okay, and after that, I'm waiting for the other peer. So let's go here. Now the room is already created. So even if I join the room, I'm just simply getting that room has already been created. We have already discussed about all these things. And right now I can just simply join the room. So if I click on join, okay, I have joined the room as well. Once you join the room, you are getting options over here. You can create the peer connection, add the data channel, create the offer, set local description and all. You are getting many things. But the good thing is that two users have joined the room, and as soon as you join the room, other user is notified that this particular user has joined the room. Okay, so two people, you are user number one, another user is peer two, I mean user number two. Both of them have joined the room. That means both of them are inside the same room. That simply means if I just click inspect over here, go to console, and what is this? Failed to the server responded with that 0038 room. Bad request. Okay, yeah, bad initially because if you remembered, I tried to create the room here, this one, but the room already existed, and because of that thing I couldn't create, and that's what it is simply telling me that it was a bad request. If you go here, especially if you go to the network, can't really say anything, but that's what it actually says. Okay, by the way, if you inspect it over here, we are actually maintaining the state. Maintaining the state in the sense we can simply get the state over here, can't we? No, we can't. How is this state is going to be available? State is not defined. We have the state over here, right? And I have this main.js. Everything inside main.js will be directly available. So ultimately I should be able to get the user ID. Let's see. User ID. Nope, I'm not able to get the user ID. I'm missing something. Aren't these things be available? Because this main.js is connected to this index.html file. Okay, it's like I'll have to run it index.html file using go live. I mean live server, only then these things are gonna be accessible. This is bad because simple thing, yeah. This is the log console of my HTTP server. Ultimately my server is actually rendering the index.html, so that simply means I cannot get that. But if I were running index.html directly, then I would have been able to just access all these properties directly, but never mind, this is fine. And if I talk about the logs over here, so I just tried to join the room. Normal server message was that a user is attempting to join the room, a user joined the room, a user added user this particular to peer 2, message sent to this, message sent to this. As simple as that. As soon as you join the room, I actually sent the message back to you that okay, you have joined the room, and I notified the other user that okay, a person joined the room. So this much has been done so far. Okay, fine. What is the next thing? The next thing is that actually creating the peer connection, adding the data channel, creating the offer, setting the local description, and sending the offer. By default, if you are creating any application, all these things will happen directly, but over here we have created the button so that we actually know the stuff exactly what's happening. Let's start with the create peer connection, how we are creating the peer connection. So as soon as I click on that particular button, so let's see what happens. And you can only create the peer connection when you have joined the room, otherwise you will not be able to do that. So let's even check exactly what's happening over here. So inside my main.js, I have exited the room, I'm joining the room. Okay, when I'm joining the room, so what am I doing? I'm just using this particular method, join.room. So once I've joined the room over here, and then I'm just simply sending the message for joining the room, the request will go to the backend, the server will send me the response back. Once the server is sending me the response back, how am I handling that? Let's check that thing out. So handle message, these things are fine, many things are here, I understand. But whenever the server sends me the response back, inside main.js, I am creating my WebSocket connection over here. Okay, after that, using this WebSocket connection, I have to listen for some events, whether I got some message from the server side or not. And all these events are where? All these events are inside WebSocket and register socket events. So let's check out exactly what's happening here. So I got my WebSocket connection and I'm listening for the events. So state.set connection, simple, easy peasy. As soon as you got the WebSocket connection, you are just simply setting it. So you are setting the state, you don't need to worry about that. Any important stuff is here. WS connection.on open. As soon as the connection is open, then what you have to do, you have to listen for some events. You have to listen for on message event, close event, error event. The same we did on the server side, the same we are doing over here. Okay, one more thing, ws.client add event listener. You can event listener, can't we do that? list listener. We could do it like this as well. Okay, this is how it can be done too. And बनाना है क्या उसे? iPrompt मत बनाना. Okay. Handle message. And this is how it can be done too, but okay, we are not gonna be going with this particular way. Call her back. Alrighty, I'm gonna be just simply ending the live right here. Just got some work to do, so let me get that particular work done. By the way, as soon as the user joined the room, I will be just listening to the handle message, like getting the message. As soon as I get the message, I will be getting the remaining things done from here on. It's gonna be pretty much interesting. So ultimately, two users are connected via WebSocket, and right now, once another user actually joined the room, now we actually have to create the WebSocket. I mean, peer connection, WebRTC peer connection, and that's what I'm gonna be creating, and we will be talking about it. Once everything is done, then that's it. That was it that we have to do over here, right? So now it's time to create the peer connection, but I got some work, so let me get that done, and after that I'll be back and continuing from here on. Take care and see you.